Hi, everyone. Today, you may see me, but I'm not here. Welcome to Becoming That One House podcast. My name is, of course, Jake. Today, I have a special guest. Let's switch over the camera here. That over there, or also this camera. Oh, by the way, that one's the one that's looking at you. This is Neil Moore, right?
Correct.
Neil Moore. He has been the newest member to our happy little media team. Very valued addition. He does all the stuff that I either can't do or he's just more passionate about it than I. So you can thank a lot of what you're seeing. You can thank Neil for that. Anyway, this week we have a very special episode. I am on vacation right now. In fact, it's October 17th when this airs, so that probably means I'm at the Martin Guitar Museum. So, ha ha ha. Anyway, we have a very special episode. Neil did some interviews for us around the church, and I am going to let him talk about what this episode is going to be. So go ahead whenever you're ready, Neil.
All right. So my wife and I came back to the church last year, about the time that Ben had started his campaign for lead pastor, and as he spoke about his vision for the church and being that one house, my thoughts went to, I would like to know what other people think of Sparta Center Church being that one house. And as I became part of the media team, I wanted to see if we could get people in front of the camera just to share their thoughts. First, to give a little background, and then to give their thoughts of how they feel that Sparta Center is that one house. As I was a kid, I had that one house that I would go to, and for me, that one house might sometimes be a place of safety. Sometimes it might be a place of comfort. It might be a fun place to be, or it might be a place where somebody will just listen to you. And that is what I see in that one house. And I just want to see what other people's thoughts are and what they are actually looking for in that one house. I mean, our pastors can have a vision, but if they don't know what the people in the community are actually looking for in that one house, then they're just kind of throwing things into the wind and, throwing spaghetti on the wall and seeing what sticks. So that is what these interviews were for, was to hopefully let all of us see the people that we attend church with, to see where their heart is, see what their passion is, and to see if we have commonality in that one house.
All right. So to get started, we have 3 different interviews for you. The first one is, you said Chris Berman, correct?
Correct, yeah.
So we're going to start with Chris. We're going to come back after the interview to kind of debrief and talk about, our thoughts about what he said. And, well, not what I guess not. We don't want to give our thoughts on his experience because that's not fair to him. But we're just going to give a little debrief on what he said, and then we're going to introduce the next person, and so on and so forth. Anyway, we hope you enjoy Neil's interview with Chris.
How long? 24 years.
24 years.
As an adult. My parents were married here in 1982, and so I actually have photos from the registry back in 1985 with my newborn baby brother, my older sister, myself, and my mom and my dad. So I've been here. I haven't been here my whole life, but I've started attending at the beginning of my life. As an adult, my freshman year of college, I came back in the spring of 2002. So since then. that can be a very long answer, and it can also be a very short answer. When we left, it was because my parents, my dad had lost his job, and we moved over to Cedar Springs when I was a kid. Lived with my grandparents out on Medlar, just north of Toe's Country Store, off 18 Mile in Medlar. Lived there for a few years, and then my dad got another job and built up enough income, and we bought a house in Cedar Springs proper. And First Baptist Church in Cedar Springs is where we attended when I was a young kid. That was cool. Got to see my dad in quartets. Got to hear my grandpa belting things off key. It was just a very different atmosphere. When my parents divorced when I was 13 going on 14, we stopped attending. And when I stopped attending regularly, my mom didn't want to be seen in the church. There was a lot of shame. And my dad stopped attending. I still don't know why. And I took that as a sign of emptiness, as a sign of shallowness, as a sign of, well, I guess we don't really believe any of this stuff. And we still prayed, around the dinner table, but there was no active pursuit of God. There was no active, this is what we're reading, this is what it was more of the culturally Christianity. Be nice and love your neighbor. And so I'm thankful for that. But as a result of that, and the confusion of having my life turned upside down as a kid, and having any mooring of morality or what is right and wrong, I spent the next 5 years in as much hedonism as I could get my hands on. I remember in my senior year, my buddy Rickers did his book report on Alex Huxley's Brave New World, and it inspired me to read it. And for some reason, I learned the opposite lesson of what Huxley was trying to teach in that, which was that, when we do it all on ourselves without God, it gets really ugly, really bad, really fast, and it turns into this awful thing to the point where we're desperately trying anything to find meaning. And I didn't get that message. I guess there is no meaning. To the point where I told my dad my senior year, there is no God, and this is a foolish pursuit. And that's when any mooring at all of trying to do things the right way or be a good person just fell off the deep end. So college for me was not a pursuit of knowledge. It was, I want to get out of the house. I want to have as much sex and do as much stuff as I could possibly do. And that led to my girlfriend getting pregnant. And that led to the seeds of a couple of different addictions starting. The spring of that year, leading into the spring of 2002, a couple of things happened at the same time. One, I didn't realize it, but I was mimicking the passivity of Adam. When my girlfriend was scared, didn't know what to do, and was looking to me to say something. And I did what so many men do, and I said, the child's in your stomach, you make the call. I pulled back. I was passive. A coward would be a more accurate description. But I was scared to death. I had no idea what to do. It was an abortifacient drug. She wasn't long enough in the pregnancy to require an actual abortion. But in a baseball game, when somebody hits a home run and he rounds the bases, and then his team finds him at the home plate and they're jumping up and down, lifting him up in the air like he just won. That's what I did with her. when she came in the hall, when we met in the hallway in our dorm, and I told her, and she told me that it's over. I lifted her up like she had just scored a home run. And I cannot describe to you any better than the conflict that was happening inside of me. Because as I was lifting her up, I'm like, what am I celebrating right now? I didn't know. I couldn't put my finger on it. So this was happening. While at the same time, God was doing the same thing with her. God was pressing on her heart, you need to come back. And so God used that to inspire her to get back in the Word, to distance herself physically from me. And as a result, we started reading the Bible together. We started doing Our Daily Bread because she was a girl and she was my girlfriend. And I'm like, okay, whatever you're going to do, I'm going to follow you. And that led to some pretty interesting conversations. One where she just asked the question, okay, you don't believe that God created everything in 6 days? How do you think it all started? And what came out of my mouth was complete drivel. I made it up as I went along. I was certain, but I had no idea what I was saying. And I realized with the praise of the abortion and the just crap that was coming out of my mouth, I realized that I was empty. And at that time, guess what book we were reading? We were reading Job. And there's this really crazy scene that happens at the end of the book of Job, where Job's friends are trying everything they can to figure it out, doing a bad job, making it worse for Job. Even Elihu, crazy dude at the end, saying, it isn't about you, it isn't about him, it's about God. Job is adamant he is innocent. And then he's got this crazy thing at the end of Job where the Lord speaks to Job out of the whirlwind. And he says, gird yourself up like a man, for I will question you. And this is right after he says, who is this that speaks words without knowledge? And it's just, I don't care if you believe in God or not. When God himself speaks to you out of the storm and tells you to buckle up, because I'm going to be the one asking questions. Just like, okay, and as I was reading that, the largest storm I have ever seen comes through, I was at Aquinas College, comes through Grand Rapids. And I hear the thunder rolling as I'm reading this. This is just insane to me. Everybody's running inside from the park where they were playing Red Rover of all things, college stuff, being stupid. And I'm like, okay, let's do this. Like a Lieutenant Dan on the top of the sails, I went out in the storm. The only lightning rod in the middle of a park. This is really dumb. But I stood there because I wanted to gird myself up like a man, because I wanted God to talk to me. And then there was a crack and thunder so loud that I was brought to my knees. I don't know if lightning struck behind me, I don't know, but it was so loud that it brought me down and I could not get back up. And God met me in that storm, not with condemnation, not with shame, not with the whip like I thought that he would meet me with. Shortly thereafter, I decided that going to church would be a really good idea. And my mom was living in Sparta at the time. And this was right before Easter that year. And that's what brought me back through the doors. As I asked Mom, can we go to church? So we went to church. That's what brought me back in the doors.
Pretty big storm.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of times you might come in and come for a week or two or a month, and then you try a different church or you float around.
Right.
What was it that made you stay here?
Well, I didn't actually attend for consistently to the actual Sunday morning services. That was the only Sunday morning service I attended for probably a solid year to 2 years. But it was that day that I filled out a communication card, which were in the bulletin at the time. You'd have to tear it off and you need to put it in the offering plate. And I said I had questions, but it triggered a conversation with Ben. Pastor Ben, El Senor, as Jake likes to call him. The priesterer, as my son called him, as when he was a toddler. And Ben called me. He wasn't he was a volunteer here at the time. He called me in my dorm room. And I asked, who is this? And had no idea. But we started a conversation. He came down to Aquinas, picked me up. And we got to have on the car ride here and back for what we called our college and careers group. Young adults asking questions. The car rides there and back were the reason. That's what hooked me, was I could have questions, I could swear, I could be who I was as I was, and I wasn't met with judgment, I wasn't met with vitriol. I was met with a curious mind. I was met with a heart that was on fire for Jesus, and there was something very attractive about that.
It sounds like Ben started that one house even that many years ago.
Yeah.
So what would you say makes Sparta Center Church that one house now? What do you feel is keeping it that one house?
To piggyback off the previous answer, what Ben did then, after a while of me doing the college and careers group, was eventually he did what we do as a church very well. Not perfectly, of course, but we pursue. Not, like as a sales tactic, not as a we gotcha kind of a thing, but I care enough to ask you the question. And eventually Ben said, you've been coming to church. I mean, you like this place. You feel comfortable here. Why aren't you coming to services on Sunday morning? He just asked the question as bluntly as possible. And the willingness to ask questions like that is one of the reasons, it gives me the freedom to be able to ask questions of someone else. You can be nakedly honest. I can just tell you what's on my heart. I can pursue you. I can love you. I can challenge you. I can be challenged. I can be pursued. I crave that. It's that intimacy that we don't get anywhere else. We don't get in the world that likes Christianity on the side, but doesn't like the Jesus, doesn't like everything's too stuffy or scary or whatever. But when we get to be truly known, that's a beautiful thing. And we model that as a church. And again, we definitely don't do it perfectly, but that's what we're aiming for. That intimacy that can only come through community and honesty.
Where do you feel the Sparta Center Church family could improve to make a better that one house?
Well, one thing that we're doing now, this podcast has been an amazing answer to prayer. I have been banging on the doors, so to speak, And I'm so thankful that we have moved in the direction of being more accessible to the world outside of these doors. And if that's just a share, if that's the podcast, or whether that's the Sunday morning service, which is great, we're doing a way better job at that, or it's the after show, so to speak, of Jake and Josh or Ben or the three of them or Laura or whoever. It's an opportunity to ask questions, to be a fly on the wall that maybe I didn't even know I had. That is the magic of a podcast anyway. Like, that's why you can listen to something for an hour or two or even a half an hour, because it's a conversation. And I love the ability to do that in a safe environment where we're talking about something that is redemptive, challenging, good, etc. So that's one thing I'm so thankful that we're doing in that vein. One thing that I would like to see us, I guess, lean in more to what, like the true religion for widows and orphans. I would like to see us lean into that more boldly, I guess. I don't know theologically how it pans out, but being a recent-ish divorcee myself, I'm not a widow, but my life is very similar in being now a single parent, but now half the time. And I would like to see us lean in to that area, I guess, more, because I know I'm not the only one right. By any stretch of the imagination. And I know that God will meet us where we are. I know that God will and can and will redeem whatever it is. That's not the issue. The issue is, what are we going to do as a community?
It's like you're saying, the church, we're here, we're helping in meeting your spiritual needs, but we also need to reach out and meet some physical and mental needs as well.
It was a lot harder. It's a lot harder to do anything now. It just is. Yeah. There's a sacrifice of time. But one of the things that we don't get back is time. This is a gift to be able to spend this time, because we can't get it back.
Right.
And as a single father, it takes a lot more time to do anything. And as a result, things around the house don't get done. Things personally have to go on the back burner. And either at the end of the day, I sacrifice more sleep, or to accomplish either half-hearted to do the things that need to get done, or they just don't get done. And I'm very thankful for the help that I have received. But I know I am probably about as vocal and outgoing as they come in the church.
I would agree with that.
Which is hilarious, because that is so against who I was before Christ. That's a whole other story. But like, my life post Christ is pursuing intimacy with others. Brand new person, somebody I've known for 100 years, whatever. That's where my life comes from. Before Christ, this would terrify the mess out of me. I know that I am far more equipped to be able to handle many of the pressures and difficulties because of how God has prepared me to be able to handle being a single father. I know that there's a lot more people that are way worse off and are struggling way more and may not cross the doors of the church because it's just one more thing to do, even though they may want to be able to do it. So it's taken God allowing me to go through this to be able to open my eyes, to be able to see this as the need that it is. Whether that's being single for whatever reason, or whether that's being single, like in my case, being a single dad, being a divorcee, it just changes the dynamic. And so if that would be one thing that I wish we could lean into more, it would be that.
Let me encourage you
Yes.
that, as you said, God has allowed you to go through this.
Yeah.
Knowing that if people walk through these doors that are in that same position, that you are there to help minister to them.
That's right.
And as they come through the doors, they also can minister to you.
Yeah.
As we walk side by side through the difficult times that we've been through.
That's right.
We use our experiences to help minister, to help meet the needs, whether it's physical, mental, spiritual.
Yeah.
But I want to thank you. I mean, I've known you for 3 months, 2 months.
It's not been long.
And you've already blessed us, in helping from what we were going through. So I appreciate that. And I just appreciate you being here and the enthusiasm that you show to those in the church. So, and thank you for sharing your heart here today.
It's a gift to be able to give. It's a gift to be able to invest. Mike Fabarez down at Compass Ministries in California, he says, go the extra mile, spend the extra hour, spend the extra dollar. Whatever that means for you, we look for opportunities to invest. So praise be to God when somebody actually opens up and says, I need help. Let's jump in.
Yeah.
Let's do it. It's a true joy to be able to give.
Welcome back, everyone. That was an interview with Chris Berman. And I got to say, Chris has always been one of the most powerfully spoken people. He's very open. He's very honest. It can be very raw with him. Is sometimes he has this way of making something that's very heavy feel pretty inviting, if it makes sense. Like, you feel like he's very capable of making you feel like a brother. Yeah. And I say that because as I look across, as I hear his story laid out like that, and as I hear and I think about my story here at SCC, he's actually one of the integral people that, like, there's like 3 people that if I had not met those people, I would not be here, and he is one of them. He is one of them that invested in me early on, and I can only imagine that is because of the way that how he said Ben invested in him and kept him here. And he's one of those people that makes me want to be that for other people, and makes me want to make that one house a house for, makes me want to make that one house be that one house. Correct. Yeah. For everyone. Right. As he's one of my best friends. He was I had 2 best men in my wedding because I couldn't choose. So that was a little weird, maybe a little bit, but he's, yeah. Anyway, Neil, you said you had some thoughts, so I'm going to kick it over here to you, and you tell me what you think.
Yeah, I've only known Chris, about 9 months or so, and as he was telling me his story, I could feel the pain that he was going through, and the struggle. I've been there myself, not with those same circumstances, but I think we all have that spiritual struggle that we have to fight through. That we might shake our fist or pound our chest, whatever. But to hear how he came through that and what it took to know that he didn't do it himself or by himself. Somebody came alongside, and to see, knowing him for such a short period of time, I see in him that same trait that when people come to this church, Chris is going to step up beside them, and he is going to walk along beside them, just like Ben did with him. I see that in his personality, in his being. And that makes me feel good, knowing that there are people in this church who have been through stuff and are going to help somebody else get through their stuff. So
I definitely can agree with that. Yeah, like I said, I can't understate the importance he's had in my life in actually keeping me here. So other than that, I can't really express a whole lot more than that, actually. Weird. I usually have a lot more words. Anyway, the next one that we're going to move into is, if I remember you telling me correctly, a fairly new couple, the Johnsons.
Correct. Yes. Barb and Randy Johnson. We met them actually when we were going to membership class, and got to know them. So it was fun. This interview and the one to follow, we did both those interviews at our home. Kind of took them out, and we sat out on the back deck and nice out in the nature, nice day. So, but yeah, Johnsons have been here 9 months, 10 months, somewhere's in there. Well, probably close to a year now. But I wanted to make sure that we got us kind of a wide spectrum of thoughts, whether they're newer attendees or longtime attendees. So that's why I approached the Johnsons.
All right, very cool. Well, we're going to get into the interview with the Johnsons. Please enjoy it. We'll be back after.
Yeah, Barb and Randy Johnson. How long have you been attending Sparta Center Church?
Almost 9 months. We first came in December. It was either the first or second week in December of last year.
But what brought you here the first time? And then to tie in question 3, what made you return or stay?
We were looking for a new church. I was always told if you weren't hearing God's word and it wasn't biblical, it's time to change. And there were a couple of times that I felt like what was being preached was not biblical, and it was the opinion of the person preaching, and it bothered me, and I brought it up to them. Didn't seem to faze them. And then unfortunately we had a situation that happened that we were both upset with, that we just said, okay, it's time to look elsewhere. And I have known a number of people that have attended SCC for years. I used to go to a church in Ravenna, and we did combination ladies retreats. So I still knew a lot of those ladies. And Randy and I have been married 13 years. And so when he moved to Sparta, I was kind of like helping direct him of what was what. So I suggested that we try SCC, and we were extremely happy we did.
Very happy.
Yep.
Very happy.
We feel like it's home.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, from the very first Sunday we went, he came out and he goes, wow, that was a breath of fresh air. And we came back and continue to, and we love it.
Well, I especially like all the way the people are just friendly and outgoing and not stuffy.
What would you say makes SCC that one house?
I just feel like everybody, no matter what walk of life, no matter what age you are, it's got that home feel. It's like coming home to a Sunday family dinner. The other church we were at started to feel kind of cliquey. That was the other thing. It just, you had this group and you had that group and nobody interacted with each other. And I have yet to feel that at all at SCC. It's like coming home for Sunday supper. It's just the best way I can describe it.
It's not the building.
No.
It's not the grounds. It's the people.
Yeah.
The people seem to be the grounding force in that one church.
Nothing is perfect, right? So where do you feel the SCC family could improve to make a better that one house? I mean, even if it's something personal to you that is, I'll say, one-off, it's like, here's what would make it better for us, or maybe make it better for another family that may have the same concerns as we do. What do you think that would be?
I have racked my brain. I'm not really sure how to answer that, to be honest. I just, we haven't pushed to have our grandkids just yet. I've had them come to the service. My granddaughter was with us this last weekend, and she really didn't, it was a different type of service too.
Right.
So I kind of had to explain to her that this wasn't the normal kind of service. But she had been to the Easter service and she said, they sing a lot. And I said, well, it was Easter too, honey. So, and she enjoys music. So, but I'm not exactly sure how, other than trying to incorporate the grandkids.
I've been to one of these men's breakfast Saturday breakfast.
Yeah.
We could have more of those.
Okay.
Because I really enjoyed that. More of those would be very nice. It was really nice and refreshing, and I sat with Tito, and he had a lot of really nice sayings, and we ministered together pretty well. So
you mentioned the service Sunday as being not typical. I don't know if I'd actually say we have typical services ever, right?
No, if there was one thing, the first couple services, it was like, wow, they're loud in here. And I never thought I would ever say that about music at all. And I was surprised how it was loud. But you've also got the hearing protection and whatnot. That was the only thing I was like, whew, it's loud.
How do you like the way the messages are done as far as the preaching team goes?
Excellent. I think they're spot on. And they don't try and shove it down your throat. It's the message is put out very, very candid, may I say?
Yeah.
And it goes out and it's received very well.
I love it that they share the preaching. It's not the same person all the time. They each take a turn and you get different perspective that way. And I really love that. I think that is great. I'm just looking forward to getting to know people even more and to be more involved and to partake and to help as much as, I'm capable. I've always been very active in the churches I've been at. So I look forward to being more involved. And I just think that they do a wonderful outreach to the community. The recent haircuts for the kids back to school. I just thought, wow, where else do you see something like that being done? They really care about the community, and I think that's what really gets me is I love Sparta, and I feel like SCC loves Sparta, and they want to minister to the people there, and just reaching out like that I think is so wonderful.
There's lots of opportunities to serve. I found one in the safety team. I'm on the safety team, and the maintenance team. Those are the two things that I'm good at. And they were very welcoming, opening, and they put me right to work. So that's one thing I really like.
Thank you very much.
You're very
You're
welcome.
very welcome.
Welcome back, everybody. That was an interview with the Johnsons. Just to kind of offer, I don't, have a whole lot of perspective on it. I don't remember when I was new, really. It's been so long. But I can say that one of the things that has that impressed me when Ben first brought up that one house idea is, I don't want to use the word universal, but how wide its reach is and how penetrating the idea can be, because if we become that one house for everyone, it doesn't matter what denomination of Christianity you are. It doesn't matter, how much money you have, what your social standing is. That one house can handle the hurt of past churches. It can handle anything, because we're that space that you run to, that you can feel safe in, that you're challenged to move forward, that you're invited into and encouraged to hurt and to feel those things that maybe in other churches or maybe in other walks of life you couldn't. And that is just so, at this point, it has so just ingrained itself into the way I see this church. Neil, you were the one interviewing them. Why don't you give us some of your thoughts?
As you were just speaking, I was thinking of, as we talk about that one house in a family, and then with the Johnsons being fairly new to the church, Chris having been here for quite a while, it's like when you have new attendees in your house, it's like having, it sounds weird, but having a baby come into a new house. You have a family and all your kids, none of your kids, well, unless you have twins, but your kids usually aren't the same age. They're spread out. They're going to have different experiences. They're going to have different personalities. But yeah, as a family, when you come together, you work together to help each other through the bad experiences, good experiences. You rejoice when they rejoice. You are sad when they're sad. And so it's like the Johnsons are coming in as the new child, and as they expressed that their new family members have helped them to be a part of the family, and to help them show where they can contribute, to help them get through whatever issues they may have had in the past, or things they may be looking forward to in helping out. So I just like the way that this family can grow at different experiences and different levels, and all be helping each other, whether you're young or old. So,
all right. So that was the interview with the or Johnson's. Wow, I said the wrong name. I was in my brain. I was like, "Don't do that! Don't do that! Don't do that!" And look at me, I did that.
Self-fulfilled prophecy, right there.
Right. So we're on to our last interview, and you said that this was the Carters.
Yes, Larry and Sally.
Larry and Sally. I definitely know them.
I don't know if there's a person in this church that doesn't know them.
Man, I don't know how you could not know Larry. Just that he's such a nice guy, and he's so soothing to listen to. I can't even there's no other word to describe it other than that. It's just like, even when he was sitting here, I was just like, you're such a nice guy. I love you. Anyway, yeah. So we're gonna move into Larry and Sally's interview, and they've been here. I mean, they've been here for forever. I mean,
have to mention that even though it's a Larry and Sally interview, it's a Larry interview. Sally won't talk.
Oh, that's okay. She's funny when she does speak.
She is. She is very funny. I even asked her about that.
Probably didn't say much about it.
I just asked her where she got her sense of humor from, because when she expresses herself in a humorous way, she reminds me of Tim and Jim both. So it must run in the family.
I think Jared said they get it from Sid.
Yeah.
I think that's what I was told, but I don't know. Anyway, so this is the final interview of today's episode with Larry and Sally Carter. Please enjoy.
All right, you ready?
I'm ready.
You ready, Sally?
I can sit in a chair.
Okay.
You can nod and smile.
Do that. Yeah.
All right. So you have everything written down you want to say, right?
I
So
sure do.
How about you just go ahead and go? I won't.
Yeah,
even ask you
okay.
any questions.
All right. We're going to cut and heal out of this. Right?
Yeah, sure.
How long have we been attending Sparta Center Church? Sally, as an infant in 1954, started attending with her folks. After they moved to Sparta, they lived in Grand Rapids prior to that. And I started attending in 1959 as a 6-year-old. So, yeah. Second question, what brought us to SCC, the first SBC at the time? The first time we came here, and we can't remember back then. For Sally, her parents brought her, obviously, probably in a bassinet or something, you know. And for me, it was the neighborhood kids that invited me, the Fast family and the Davis family. They were just little evangelists and on South Elm Street, and they said, hey, we go to church here, come with us, and I did. Next question, what made us stay at SCC in our case? It's our church home where our family is. It's kind of an obvious question, but we are on board with the doctrine of the church, the way the Bible is interpreted by the leadership of the church. We feel a deep sense of commitment. We've never felt a prompting, never sensed a prompting to leave. So they're stuck with us.
I think that's okay.
The fourth question, what would you say makes SCC that one house? And I said, if you think of a place that is welcoming and comfortable and lively and feels like home, that's it. Sally said there isn't a spirit of judgment, but of love and encouragement. People look forward to seeing one another and just being there. Where do we feel that SCC could improve to make it that one house? We agreed with what you said earlier, Neil, that there's always room for improvement. All of us can find ways to get involved and contribute, to be more gracious and loving. If you find a place where you can exercise the spiritual gifts that you feel that you have, and you can do it in concert with other people, that whole idea of the local body operating in a way that we've heard the scriptural teaching about the one arm saying to the other, I have no need of you. It all needs to work together. and we found that it's not perfectly done, but there's sure a lot of harmony and a lot of one another in the church. So, we are a gathering of imperfect people, and we mess up. And I like it that we seem to be able to forgive quickly. And we do have extra comments, Neil, if you get time for it. Okay?
I'm more than happy.
This is Sally talking. Although Sally's not talking.
Just move her mouth.
She said, yeah, that's right. She is so thankful every day for our family at SCC. I think of the phrase bloom where you're planted, and we've been planted on the corner of State and Division our whole lives, and neither one of us can even imagine being anyplace else. There are many other great churches in the North Kent area. This is just the one that we landed in, and we just found no reason to leave. And so why leave if you feel like you're being used in the place you are?
So you had some interesting company up there
Yes,
behind
you
you.
did.
Right? You had a cardinal and
A hummingbird.
chickadee.
I can hear them.
They didn't come up and do like this.
They were darn close.
Yeah.
So,
There's the chickadee again.
so
Poop on the head. That's
kind of a question.
that's not on anymore.
Yeah,
Oh,
they're
no.
on. Yeah, you just spoke, and it's going to make it into the.
I said that. Poop on the. Better not make it in.
I've heard worse on that podcast. So my question for Larry, I guess, because I know Sally won't answer me now, as I'm going to say long-time attenders, as you listen, as we've gone through this recent sermon series of, oh, that's awkward, or, oh, this is awkward, I guess it is.
Yeah.
We've talked about some, what I would call social issues, or even church issues. Have these messages made you think about how you talk to others or treat others or how you interact? I mean, I've known you guys for 45 years, and I know that you're long-time, well-planted Christians. Is there anything that you have thought to yourself or thought I need to improve on because of this, or that you've heard from this series?
I think it doesn't matter which of the pastoral team that is there. I'm confident, because I've heard it from them, but I've also talked with them, each of them, but they lead with love, and they don't approach any particular topic in a condemnatory, judgmental way. And I love that. And they are curious. They seek dialogue. And we all know that there's no dialogue to be had if it's one-sided, or if it's filled with vitriol. Just any way in which it's unkind or judgmental, it cuts off conversation. And so we all talk to all kinds of people over the course of a week and a month, and they're not just all of our Christian church friends. And I think the idea of having tact and not shying away from the truth at all, but being able to choose your moments, relying on the Holy Spirit, knowing when to speak and when not to speak. Boy, that's a lesson to be learned, for sure. And the whole idea of closeness to God, the whole idea of daily, keeping daily accounts with God. I love the people who get sick of me hearing that. I think that's why the day and night were invented, because we get to start over every day. A clean slate. It's a wonderful thing. Forgiveness, asking forgiveness, receiving forgiveness, a wonderful thing. So we can start each day seeking the Holy Spirit's leading in what we do. And depending on closer to God that we are, or the further away we are, impacts how
how we let the Holy Spirit speak into our lives.
Yeah.
So I think that's listening for that. Scripture calls it a still small voice. Some people call it your conscience. It's called many different things, but I give the Holy Spirit credit for being the person in the Trinity that either tells me to keep my mouth shut or to speak out.
Which does he do the most?
Then it enters upon personality. I know where you're going with it. I think keep my mouth shut in a lot of cases is a lot more beneficial and productive than speaking out. But by the same token, timidity sets in.
Yeah.
You don't want to ruffle feathers unnecessarily. There's the whole idea of protecting other people's reputation, but fearing for your own reputation. And you think, wait a minute, it's God's reputation we ought to be concerned about way more than our own.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's a good question, though. Yeah, I think I need to shut up more than speak.
Sally, you got anything to add?
Ditto.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, that was our third and final interview of this very special episode of the Becoming That One House podcast. I think I know they've been coming here for forever. You heard that in the interview. I just knew that intrinsically because they're such a large part of this church, and I think it can be hard sometimes when you are a member of a church for that long, and the church goes through I want to say a mission change. That's not really right, but like a pastoral change, because that's a big shift. Yeah. Like there's a lot of people that are like, we're used to the way we're moving along with Nate, and then all of a sudden Ben comes, and Ben and Nate have been working together for a long time, so it's like it's going to be the same. No, Ben really has his own way that he wants to, shepherd this church, and it can at times at times be very different than the way Nate wanted to do it. And I think that can be a challenge for people. And I think that Larry and Sally, just from the type of people I know them to be, and I'm very thankful for the type of church that we have, where the elders and the older people in our church are not set in that way. They're very open to the change of not even really a change of direction, just the different missional focus. Maybe, does that sound right to you? They're just open to the change, and like they get on the line of, this is going to further the kingdom of God, and that ultimately is what we want, so let's go. It's not, well, we used to do it this way, and because I've also been in churches where that has been a thing, and it's a serious hindrance to. I mean, Ben's not a new pastor, not the new pastor now. It's been a year by the time this aired. It will have not been quite a year, but like, I can't express to them how grateful I am to everyone for that attitude. What are your thoughts, Neil?
Yeah. I've known Larry and Sally for 45 years, and anybody that knows part of my story is that I attended here for 8 years, got married, job things took us away from the church. We just recently came back after 35 years or whatever. But to come back and to have members like Larry and Sally that are here and have been here, that you're coming into a house that is solid. That, and if you know Larry and Sally, they're just good, solid Christian people that have a love for the church and a love for the community. And when you're coming back, even after that amount of time, and you've got that that bedrock foundation for the membership. You just know that you're coming in to a family that cares. And, you know, when that, like you said, if they're open to change and open to doing things a little differently, to, you know, you don't know unless you try, right? So it's great to see somebody that's been here for so long. Sorry, Larry and Sally. But to see somebody that's been here for so long step up and to follow their new leader and to try and still make a difference, that it's just very comforting to know that.
I would say that all of these people that we've listened to interviews from today, that all of these things that have been said in this episode, it just it gives me confidence that this is the correct path for our church. This is what the mission should be. Now, if it plays out in the long run, I mean, who can predict that? But like, I feel like this is where we need to be at the moment, and I am so grateful for Ben and his leadership and laying this out for us in such a digestible manner and in such a repeated manner. Like, that's why, the question. Actually, I'm going to ask you because you're a new guest too, and I love to ask everybody the question. So the question is, how does this help us to become that one house? And I think that repeated return to, if I had my druthers, it'd still be on the podcast, but I think that repeated return to, how does this help us do this? Why do we do this? I think I really love that it keeps it in everybody's mind and active. So I'm going to ask you the question, Neil, because you are new, well, not new to the podcast, but this is the first kind of sit down you and I have had on camera. So how do everything that the interviewees talked about, how does what they said, and how does absorbing what they said, and how does anything else help us to become that one house?
As I said earlier, as we see other members around us interact with us, to see how their vulnerability opens up. I mean, all of them have been vulnerable in that they share their experiences of why they're here and why they continue to stay here. And if we're open to hearing other people's stories, if we're open to their experiences, and we look at our own experiences and compare those things, it helps us to have a network, I guess, a network of members, that if somebody walks through our doors and it's our first time talking to them, if they're open enough to share just a little bit, and if we're allowing the Holy Spirit to speak to us as we speak to that person, we may be able to point them in a direction. It might not be us at this time. It might be Larry and Sally. It might be Randy and Barb. It might be Chris. It might be anybody that's in the church, that because we know each other's story and we know where we're at, we can direct them, and God will use us as a pathfinder, I guess, to direct them or to lead them in a direction that will get them some answers, or get them comfort, or get them some joy. You know, everybody has a different need or a different want. And as we hopefully through these interviews get to know each other, we can help guide and direct others that are coming in to find what they need in that one house.
Awesome. So that concludes this episode of the Becoming That One House podcast. If I didn't say it at the outset, I'm Jake. That's Neil. This is a very different episode from what we normally do. If you have any questions for us, there should be a contact card in the pew. It might not look like this anymore. I'm not really sure, but it says connect on it somewhere. On the back of that, you'll have a space for your contact information and any questions that you might have. If you want to submit that to us, you can drop it in the black box. You can give it to me, Josh, or Ben, or even Chelsea. You can leave it on Chelsea's desk. She'll make sure we get it to us. If you leave your name, we'll never use your name. It is completely anonymous. Other than that, next week, I probably won't be back yet. What's next week? The 21st. Yeah, I won't be back yet. Jared, a very special guest, Jared Toonstra, will be hosting, and Ben and Josh will be back to breaking down our Genesis series. Very excited about being in the middle of that. Secondarily, you can check us out on all major podcasting platforms, all major social media platforms, although mostly YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. If you want to see more of these types of interviews, I saw you post about this way back when on Facebook, and I saw you got a lot of responses, and I was like, wow,
Yeah,
he got a lot of responses. I'm jealous. People don't respond to my stuff like that. Holy crap!
Well, if they respond, they might get a home cooked meal at my home. So
I'm jealous.
do you want to be interviewed, Jake?
Not really. I feel like I've told my story enough. I honestly do. Anyway, if you want to see more of these, he can plan just like a regular sort of episode like this, where we just keep rolling them out as we get them. Yeah. I would love to see that, to be honest with you. Other than that, do you have any final thoughts, Neil?
Just if you would like to share your story, just let us know. Tap me on the shoulder at church. Shoot me a message on Facebook, whatever.
You can, of course, also email me or talk to me. I will point you directly at him for this, especially for this. He's such fun to interview with. And other than that, we will see you. Let's see. This Sunday, oh no, I haven't looked at the schedule to see what the upcoming Sunday was for this. I don't know. It's a Genesis sermon. We hope you enjoy that. I don't know who's preaching. I don't know what it's talking about, but it's talking about Genesis. So have fun with that. Bye.